Good evening and welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for all North and South Carolina students, sponsored by the Carolinas Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admission Officers, or CACRAO, and StriveScan. We thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can utilize the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to the presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening through the CACRAO StriveScan partnership, and we encourage you to check out the full listing on CACRAO's website at cacrao.org. Lastly, a recording of the presentation will be made available within about a week at the same website, cacrao.org. I'd now like to turn it over to our presenters so that they can begin their session.
Hey everybody, my name's Megan and I'm representing Appalachian State. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm an admission counselor in the office. I serve the students in the Chapel Hill region, and I kind of stretch around Raleigh and extending to the beach and upward. I serve all of the students in the Northeast as well. So thanks for joining us. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Kendall, and she can tell you a little bit about her role today, and then we'll get started.
Hi everybody, my name is Kendall. I am an admissions counselor as well for App State. I do not have my own territory, so I just sort of help out wherever I can. I just graduated from App this past May, so I'm really excited that you guys are all here and that you want to learn more about Appalachian. And I'll also be answering any questions that you have in the chat box. So.
Awesome, thanks Kendall. So yeah, if you have any questions, just know that we're expecting over 200 registrants today. So if you do not get your question answered, we will do our best to connect you with the appropriate person in our office. And we will do a little presentation here to start off and then turn it over to Q&A. So feel free to ask questions throughout the presentation, and Kendall will get to them as best as she can. If she doesn't answer your question, it probably means that it's a really good one and she wants me to use it as something to address the entire group. So just be patient with us as we navigate those. But welcome, we're so excited that you're here to spend time with us to learn more about the university that we love so much. Going ahead and getting started, we are located in Boone. If you're in South Carolina, you may or may not know where we are. So we are a little college town community that is nestled in the Blue Ridge Mountains, and we have the perfect mix of outdoor adventure and urban vibe. And some things that are really important to us here are global learning, community service, sustainability, and diversity and inclusion. Here are some of the things that we're also proud of as well. Being a leading institution in the South, we really enjoy the fact that we have a lot of opportunities for you to explore our various majors that we will talk about in just a little bit. Speaking of our location, adventure is never far here in Boone. If you would like to spend a lot of your time on the mountain, there are going to be so many opportunities for you to do that, whether that's through skiing, snowboarding, kayaking, or just going on a hike with your friends. But if you'd like to spend some time off the mountain, here's where we are geographically. And as you can see, some of our major cities are not too far away. Here are some things in this nifty little word cloud that have been used to describe us in the community. And speaking of community, one of the biggest words, as you can see there, is the word community. And I feel like that is definitely one of the best words to describe the Appalachian family and community overall here. Our communal feel is definitely something that I think is iconic about Appalachian. And if you ever get the chance to visit, I hope that you would feel that too. Some other words that really stick out to me here is sustainability. That is one of our major pillars here at Appalachian, and we even have a major for sustainable development and other concentrations as well if you are interested in those kinds of things. Moving on, we're going to talk a little bit about some numbers to break down what Appalachian is like academically. We are primarily an undergraduate institution here, so as you can see, we have a little over 18,000 undergraduate students, which is an excellent thing if you're looking for an institution that has that kind of feel. And other than that, we have over 20,000 students that go to Appalachian yearly. So that again is something that you can consider, especially as you're thinking about colleges and what size of a college you may want. Some other numbers are here present on the left-hand side of the screen. About 91% of our student body is in-state, which is something that we're looking to increase. So if you are a North Carolinian, obviously we are a popular choice for our students here. Other than that, looking at some of our statistics here on the top left, these are indicative of some of the things, that are typical for an Appalachian applicant. So as you can see, we have SAT and ACT scores. And if you have any questions about COVID and the impact with these items, let us know in the Q&A box, and Kendall can definitely answer those and we can talk about it at the end of the presentation. But these are numbers that can help pinpoint to see if you could potentially be a right fit. And the good news is if you are outside of these numbers, don't worry too much, because we do look at applications holistically, which means we take every single factor into consideration. It is a requirement for students that are entering here as a freshman at Appalachian to live on campus. So about 99% of our students, the only small percentage that's left, they either have an exemption of some sort or something of that nature. So a lot of our freshmen do get that experience by living on campus, and they end up residing in one of our 20 residence halls. So if you'd like to learn more about housing, I would encourage you to get out your phone if you have it near you and check out our housing website. You will be able to choose your roommate, and that is an exciting part of the college experience. Moving into some more discussions about academics, we offer over 150 majors here at Appalachian to choose from, so there is definitely a path for everyone. Here are our 6 undergraduate colleges. So as you can see, we've kind of narrowed down those majors into various offices and departments. And we also have a really amazing School of Music as well as an honors college. And if you'd like to continue your education here at Appalachian, you can potentially look into our graduate school as well. We also, fun fact, have 2 PhD degrees that you could potentially get as well if you'd like to, spend a long time here at Appalachian. Moving into some more academic things. Sorry, I'm just gonna move up this little bar. Okay, so we have a couple of our selective academic programs that I want to take some time to talk about. These are things that are definitely popular among students that are thinking about Appalachian. So if you have any questions about these, I'd be happy to talk about them some more. But as I mentioned earlier, we do have an honors college here at Appalachian. And if you're looking for more of a rigorous academic experience, that might be something that you're interested in. And we also have a really unique college here. We're only one of 2 in the entire state of North Carolina that has one of these. And it's known as a residential college. Specifically, it's called the Watauga Residential College. And these are students that live where they learn and learn where they live. And it's a really exciting opportunity that is about 2 years of your college experience. So if you want some more details about that, let us know. And then we were founded as a teacher's college, and our education program is one of the top programs in the country. So it's only fitting that we have an excellent opportunity for future teachers. So if I have anybody that's interested in education, let me know. I would love to chat with you about ACES, or our Appalachian Community of Education Scholars. These are future teachers, and this group is going to support you with the resources that you need to get out into the classroom early. In the bottom right corner, we have our scholarship opportunities. If you want to scan this, it will take you to our really awesome scholarships website, where you can see all of the scholarship opportunities. You're able to apply for scholarships in the early action deadline, which is non-binding, and those applications are due by the 15th of November. So if you haven't started your application yet, start that so you can be eligible for those scholarships. Of course, if you have any additional questions about that, let us know and we can chat more about that as we go forward. Just to give you some more insight about the typical Appalachian classroom experience, we have a 16:1 average student to faculty ratio and an average class size of 28, which means that in the Appalachian experience, you would have a tight-knit classroom where you would get to know your professors and build those kinds of academic relationships. So if that's something that's important to you, then Appalachian may be a good spot for you as well. Speaking of things that you might be able to do in the classroom, a lot of students here get the opportunity to participate in undergraduate research. So if you're interested in a career path like psychology, you're going to get the opportunity to do some investigations on your own, which can be, again, a great opportunity. And you won't have to worry about competing with other students at the graduate level and things of that nature. So really exciting opportunities as well. And other than that, speaking more about the opportunities that you could have here at App, one of our other really big goals here at Appalachian is to encourage students to have a diverse learning experience. And we definitely encourage you to do that through study abroad opportunities. So about 25% of our student body studies abroad. It is a requirement if you are going to go into the Honors College. And it's really exciting, I think, because it gives you the opportunity, again, to learn somewhere new. We do have scholarships and financial aid opportunities that can help pay for those excursions. And we have a couple of different types as well. So if you're not quite ready to commit to a full semester, we have shorter trips that you could attend if that is an experience you wanted to get on a smaller scale. Other than study abroad opportunities, we have over 400 different clubs and organizations that you could participate in. About 150 of those are community focused, since I mentioned earlier that community is such a big part of who we are here at App. Other than that, you could get involved by participating in Greek life. Greek life is about 15% of our student population at this time, which is only growing as we go through the years. If athletics are something for you, we have 3 different tiers, I like to say. So we have intramural teams, which you don't have to necessarily be good at that sport to join an intramural team. You don't even have to play at all if you want. Well, in the past, but if you join that team, of course, you'll have to play. But it's a great way to meet new people and get active and exercise if that's what you want to do. And then the next tier is our club sports, and they are sports that you do have to try out for, and you get to compete against other club teams. And then, of course, at the 3rd tier or the top level, we have our varsity sports. We are a D1 school here at Appalachian, and that is a big part of who we are overall in terms of what you are able to participate in as a student. Other things are available as well if you're into music and the arts. We have excellent a cappella teams. You could join an orchestra if you don't want to major in music. So those are just a couple of other things that you could be involved in. So of course, our Mountaineer Pride is something that we're very proud of here at Appalachian. So if you're thinking about applying, I think this is definitely something that you'll feel eventually if you decide to make App your home. And moving into some other things that we can discuss in terms of cost and paying for college overall, we have here our numbers. I know we have some South Carolinians with us today, so you'll be looking at the right side of the screen. If you are an in-state resident, you're looking at the left side of the screen. So we're proud to say that we are one of the more affordable institutions in the state, and these numbers are, I would say, pretty comprehensive, and these estimates do include your tuition, your fees, standard room and board, and we also have in this number included your standard meal plan. If you have any questions about any of those things, let us know. And we have a wonderful textbook rental program that can help you save thousands of dollars on your textbooks. Speaking of paying for college, one of the more stressful things can be, how do I deal with financial aid? How do I pay for college? And we're here to help guide you through that process. So we do have a financial aid office that is separate from admissions here, and they can help walk you through that. And of course, we can be here for you too to help guide you along that process. But we take the information from the FAFSA, so make sure that you complete that. It's getting ready to open here this week on October 1st. So sit down with your parents or guardians, your family, whoever you live with, and complete the FAFSA, because then universities take that information and give you an offer in the form of, it could be federal work study programs, grants, loans, or even scholarships. So complete that soon. It'll be coming up this week. And then of course, once you are thinking about, paying for college and choosing a college, one of the things that you might be thinking about is, how will this pay off in the end? College is an investment, so it's really important for us to highlight your internship and career opportunities during mostly, and then after, of course, you graduate. So we have a lot of internship opportunities. These are based upon the major that you ultimately go into as a sophomore or junior. And then upon graduation, we're proud to say that a lot of our students are ultimately employed very quickly after graduation. So hopefully at this point, you're starting to picture yourself here. Maybe you're thinking about applying, or maybe you already have, and this kind of sealed the deal for you. But speaking of how to apply, if you haven't done so already, these are some of the things that we are going to need from you as an applicant. So as I mentioned earlier, we do have a holistic review process, which means we look at every single thing that you submit, not just one thing. And we have here in the little frame, this is Yosef, our Mountaineer mascot, and he has all of the things you need. So we need an online application via Common App. We're on the Super application, and you can select multiple colleges to apply to through that platform, which is really great. A $65 fee, and we do participate in some fee waivers. So if you need a fee waiver form, let us know and we can get that to you. Your admission counselor here, every student with us today has an admission counselor in our office, so you can always reach out to them with any questions or if you want to get that waiver. Test scores, and we have a little asterisk here today because we are part of the UNC system and for 1 year only. So this is only applicable at this time to seniors. Juniors are required, and lower grades, of course, are required to have a test score at this time. We haven't heard any other guidance at this point, but for our current seniors that are applying, we are eligible, or the students are eligible, I should say, for a test waiver. So you can choose to not submit a test score and it will not be held against you. Then we have transcripts. We're going to need high school and college transcripts if you are duly enrolled. Let us know if you have any other questions about that. Our optional materials are in yellow, so these are things that are not required, of course, but we suggest submitting them, especially if you're really serious about app. So one of them is your activities list. This is kind of like a resume, but it just helps us get to know who you are as a student, and an interest statement, which is exclusive to Appalachian, and that will be in your My Mountaineer portal, which you'll get after you apply. And it's just a short statement that asks, why do you want to be a Mountaineer? So we love reading those, and of course, if you want to submit them, you can. So speaking of some important dates as we're closing out here, as I mentioned earlier, the FAFSA will become available this week on October 1st. Make sure you complete that quickly because you want to get eligible for some of the grants in the state that you will potentially qualify for. And you can really complete that anytime through March 1st, but the earlier, the better. Then I want to highlight some of our important dates here. Our November 1st deadline is our early action deadline. It is non-binding, which means you are not committed to come to app if you do get accepted. And all scholarship applications are also due in that same time frame. So we want you to be eligible for that. So just remember to apply early. And I highly recommend to apply early. If you choose to apply in the regular decision time frame, you're looking at February 1st. And all materials will be due by the middle of February. And then here's when you'll hear back, depending on when you apply. So our decision notifications will not come until January 25th at the earliest. If you apply in the regular decision time frame, then you will get a decision around March. So currently, if you're a December graduate, our spring 2021 application is still open, or maybe you took a semester off because of COVID or something like that. So we do still have that open, and we hope to see you connect with us. Kendall, it would be really awesome if we could share the link to our counselor page so that you can search by county. And if you're in South Carolina, your counselor's name is Liz, and she is great. So again, if you didn't get your question answered, today or we don't get to it, please reach out to us and you can connect with us in a number of ways. So here's our website. I'll give you a second to kind of either take a picture of that or write it down. That's where you can find out who your counselor is and you can ask any more specific questions. So thanks for listening to our presentation today, and we will go ahead and see if there are any additional questions. We have about 25-ish minutes until the session ends, and it's a firm 6:45 close date, or time, I should say. So let us know if you have any questions.
We do have a couple of questions in here.
Okay.
That maybe you could answer. First, this first question is about Crosby Scholars. I'm not exactly sure what that is. It says I'm trying to get credit for Crosby Scholars and was wondering how to get that.
I'm not familiar with the Crosby Scholars either, and we can definitely get you some more information for the student that asked that. If we could just get their information, we could reach back out to them.
Perfect. So Cameron, if you'll just type your information in the chat box and we'll get that for you. And then we had a couple questions about minimum GPA and minimum test scores. We had a couple of those, just if you want to touch on them.
Yeah, so in the state of North Carolina, this is the same for everyone. So if you're applying from North Carolina or South Carolina, the minimum GPA requirement is 2.5. So if you're below that, and that's weighted, if you're below 2.5 GPA, you unfortunately do not meet the minimum requirements, but you can always apply later as a transfer student if that's what you would like to do. But if you're above that, you can of course apply, and we would, enjoy to see your application. In terms of test scores, there's not really a minimum per se this year because of COVID creating that test waiver process that we have. So if you don't have a test score that you want to submit, I would just say hold off on that, and we'll have more accurate data for minimum test score requirements. In the past, it was an 880 for the SAT and a 19, I believe, or 17 or 19 in the past. So that could, of course, change as with COVID and testing centers being closed, we might see a change in that. But in the past, in the state of North Carolina, those were the two minimums.
And are we participating in the North Carolina Countdown to College week?
I believe that is the free application week, and we do not participate. Unfortunately, we have, we do require that $65 fee, but the good news, instead of participating, we have those fee waivers to bring in. So reach out to your counselor, we can help you waive that fee.
And then the price that you guys, that was listed on the screen earlier, that was for one full academic year, correct? For the tuition slide?
Yes, the 15 grand and some change, and then the 29 grand and some change is one full academic year, yes. Great questions.
And then we had a couple questions about things like veterinary majors and dental majors. If you want to talk about like the pre-health, we had a couple.
Yeah, so excellent question. So we do not have like specific pre-medical majors like pre-dentistry or pre-med. What a lot of students do is they major in biology, and the most popular route is cell and molecular biology. That is one of our strongest majors, and one of the best ways that we support these students is through our pre-health academic advising. So students that are interested in going to med school or PA school or whatever kind of school that they intend to go to after their undergraduate degree, we support those students with an extra advisor. So that advisor then gives them all of the tools and tips and tricks that they need throughout their undergraduate career to then be able to apply to med school. So even though we don't have like a pre-dentistry or a pre-med major, you will be supported and you will still have all of the resources that you need to then apply to med school.
Awesome. And then we did have a question about the most competitive majors. So maybe we can talk about how we look at applicants without looking at the majors.
Yeah, so one of the best things about Appalachian, in my opinion, is that when you apply to Appalachian, you apply to the university as a whole. So it literally does not matter what major you put in Common App when you apply. You can put deciding as your major, or you might know it better as undecided. We think deciding sounds a little bit better. So deciding is a major that you can put. If you're on the fence between a couple of majors, you can put that. It's not going to affect you negatively. And the reason why is because for the first 2 years of your education here, you're going to be doing general education requirements anyway. So it's more of an intended major. In terms of the most competitive majors, the only ones that you really are going to see competitiveness in is nursing, of course, and then the music school as well. These are two academic areas that require admission requirements, but you won't apply to the nursing school until your sophomore year, and you can get into the university and not get into the music school. So I would say, you know, there are possibilities for wiggle room in that sense. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, and then we had a couple questions about like programs offered through the Honors College, like the benefits of being in the Honors College, things like that.
So the two biggest benefits, in my opinion, to the Honors College, and there's not really like programs that are offered through the Honors College, you take it in tandem with your other credits. So it's not really limiting, in my opinion, in terms of your course load. You can really have as much freedom as you want to take the certain courses that you want to, as long as you're also taking your honors courses that are required. So some really great things that you'll be able to have in the Honors College is priority registration, which is really popular. Students like to be able to get in their classes that they want to get into, and so you get to register first, which is a really great perk. And then, of course, I think it looks really great on a resume, especially if you know you want to go to med school, or you know you want to go to post-undergraduate school, whether that be, you know, a second program or a graduate program. I think it shows that you really wanted that rigorous academic environment, and I feel that that would be a really good opportunity to beef up your resume, so to speak. So those are some benefits, but there's not really specific programs that are offered. It's just you are in the Honors College and you take certain classes. You have a thesis to write at the end, and they do have a separate application and admissions process. Kendall, if we want to link their website for those students, that would be really great. It shows what they look for in an applicant and all of that good stuff.
Perfect. Let's see. We had some questions about safety on campus.
Yeah. Campus is so safe. I'm almost a two-time graduate of Appalachian. So I feel so good talking about this because one of my most favorite things about our campus is our blue light system. So there's a blue light, I don't even know how many feet it is, Kendall, maybe we can look that up, but they have a blue light system so that you can, you know, heaven forbid if something happens, you can press the blue light, and that picture actually has one in it. They're emergency lights, so you're not very far from those, and that's a really great way to, you know, call for help if you need it. Another really awesome thing about Apps Campus is our Safe Ride carpool system. So if you are at the library at midnight, hopefully that's not the case, but a lot of students study late. So if you are at the library at midnight and you need a ride back to your dorm and you don't feel comfortable walking, all you have to do is call Safe Ride. They are university sponsored, so no other students can get on that bus, just university students, and they can drive you to your dorm. So that's another good one.
Then we have some questions about transferring credits. We had a couple of those.
Yeah, of course. So with transferring credits, Appalachian's #1 goal is to help get you that credit. So we have a really awesome office on campus called the Office of Transfer Services. They are specifically there to help students receive their credit through credit evaluation. So we're seeing more and more that students are coming in with credit, which is amazing. So all you have to do is provide your transcript throughout the admissions process. And then once you're admitted, the credit evaluation process begins, and the office that I mentioned, the Office of Transfer Services, takes your credit, or your transcripts and evaluates that credit to see then what can transfer over. We do have a really great resource, Kendall, if you wanted to link that, the Transfer Course Equivalency Search, which is a website where you can kind of do your preliminary looking, like you can take a course, say it's like Math 1000 at your community college. You can pop that course into the website and then see what it converts over here as. So we also have a really great petitioning system as well. So if you don't get credit for it, you can petition for credit, which is an amazing opportunity. And I've seen a lot of success with that. So yeah.
Awesome. Let's see if there's any other ones that were asked multiple times. General education requirements, just maybe talk about those.
Yeah. So every student at Appalachian has to have a certain number of hours in gen ed. If you're coming in with credit, you might see that number kind of go down. Kendall, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know the exact amount of hours, but it usually is about 2 years in that program, 1.5 to 2 years, depending on incoming credits. It's like 40 something credit hours. And there are certain themes that you are going to pick and select. That's the beauty of like a more liberal arts education, because you can really choose what you want to learn about. And you can take those courses and then they kind of check off on a checklist. And then once you're done with that, you declare your major and then you start your major courses, which you can technically start early in your gen ed requirements. Sometimes they like overlap and they hit both boxes, which is really great.
So we did have a couple questions about test scores for next year and if they're going to be optional next year or if we know the answer to that.
I have no clue. Ultimately, it will get published by the UNC system. App is one of 17 schools in the UNC system, and UNC Chapel Hill, of course, is one of those. NC State, ECU, they were all part of that group, and the UNC system will make that call. So I have no idea at this time.
Okay. And what about AP credits?
Yeah, AP credits transfer over if you get a 3 or above on the score. All you need to do is send a PDF copy of your College Board. There's like a little PDF in your College Board account and you can just send it. And it's a really easy process. You can send it to your counselor, whoever in our office, and we can get that taken care of you in that office for you. And that office that I mentioned earlier, the Office of Transfer Services, does the same thing with AP credit. You can, they will evaluate it and you can see the results of that through your credit evaluation process. It's the same for IB credits as well, if we have any IB students with us today.
And then we had a question about pre-law major.
Yeah, we actually do have a pre-law. It's a really excellent program. Our poli-sci program is one of the best. I really like talking with the dean of, well, he's technically not the dean, but the program coordinator of the political science major. And I would highly recommend, if you're really interested in app, to reach out to him. His name is Dr. Ardoin. Ardoin, and he's so great. He loves to talk with prospective students, and he can answer any specific questions about the pre-law program. Their website is really excellent too. I love the website because it has a lot of student testimonials. We have a lot of students that graduated from there that have gone on to law schools, big law schools, and also are working in big cities like Washington.
Perfect. Who did we say our Virginia rep is? That is the point of contact.
That's me. I'm the Virginia rep.
Yay. Okay, perfect. So it's Megan.
Yeah.
Can I type your email in here? What is your email?
Yes, my email is hudsonmt.
Perfect. We already answered the question about, so here's a good question. What kind of clubs will look good on an application?
Honestly, any clubs. I think it shows that you're willing to do some involvement outside of your academics. So I don't think there's any in particular. It would be amazing if you had a leadership role as well. And that's just not for Appalachian, that's for every college you apply to. So if that's not possible, I think it just means more that you were involved in something. So any club, to be honest.
How do they get onto the mail list?
Yeah, so all we need to do is just create a profile for you. So if you send us your name and contact information, a phone number, and a address, as well as a email address, we can pop you into our mailing list. Kendall, if you just want to have that student email me, we could do that.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Community service hours. Do we have any required community service hours?
Nope, but it looks excellent on your resume, and it could be a really good item to put on your list of activities.
So for students who were homeschooled for part of their high school career, how will not being able to be active in clubs affect them on their application?
It won't affect you negatively because the list of activities is optional. If that student was, involved in something else in the community, they could put that instead. Or if they work, that could be another good item. So that will not affect you negatively.
Awesome. And do you happen to know who the rep is for the Sand Hills area of North Carolina, so Pinehurst?
Yeah, I think it's Jack Selly, but I do think there's a cutoff around that area. I'm pretty positive it's Jack Selly Martinez.
Can you switch majors during a semester or year?
Yes, I changed my major 3 times. It's very easy. I don't recommend doing it 3 times, but if you do, that's technically average. Yes.
Yeah.
Just talk to your advisor, your academic advisor.
Let's see. And then we have a question that says, how would it work class-wise, as well as how long you'd be there if you come in with an associate's degree?
Yeah, this is a really good question, but honestly, it's really subjective. I feel like it just depends on how many credit hours you take. I mean, ideally, a student with an associate's degree that goes to an early college or something like that would finish in 2 years. But if you change your mind or you want to do a minor along with your major, it might take you an extra semester or so. So ideally 2 years, but it could be 2 to 3.
And on that same sort of transfer
Yeah.
path, for early college, high school students, when we come in, will we be considered freshmen or transfer students?
It's kind of both. So you'll be considered a first-year student by student type because typically these students are 17 or 18 and they are required to live on campus. And if you are an early college student, you will still apply as a first-year student, but you'll be special because you will have the credit hours of a junior. So you'll also be a junior by credit hour, but by student type, you will be a freshman and still have all of the experiences of a freshman. The one thing I will say about early college students as well is that you will have to declare your major as soon as you come in. So if you're an early college student, I really want you to start thinking about what you want to do so that you can declare your major. You'll have to do that because you'll have an associate's degree or equivalent of 60 credit hours when you come in.
Perfect. And then we do have a couple questions about the essays for the application.
Yeah, so you have one essay that's mandatory, and that is the Common App essay. There's 6 different or 7 different prompts. I'm not sure how many. They do change yearly. And you get to pick a prompt, and I would just say make sure that you spend some time thinking about that. It's about 400 to 600 words-ish in Common App, and you'll copy and paste your essay however you want to write that in a separate Word document or whatnot. But you will then submit that and it will go to every college that you apply to in Common App. And with that, I would just, make sure that you're proud of that essay, make sure it is a reflection of you as a person, have some people read it, proofread it, a guidance counselor, an English teacher, and it's the thing that goes to every college. So that's something to keep in mind. So that's the only essay that's required for us. The interest statement that is optional is not really an essay, it's more of a statement. And that is something that just says, why do you want to be a Mountaineer? And you can access that in your portal. If you apply for scholarships, there are 3 essays that you will apply within a portal within a portal, and you will see those once you apply to Appalachian.
Awesome. We do have a question here that says, what do you recommend for out-of-state applicants? I'm not exactly sure in what terms. So if the person asked that
Yeah.
question,
Yeah. I recommend the same things as I would for in-state students. You're not really going to have a disadvantage by being an out-of-state student, so don't worry or think that. And I would just say, you know, submit the optional materials, and that goes for everyone at any institution that you apply to. So if there's an optional list of, you know, activities or the interest statement, like for us, I say submit those regardless of whether you're an in-state or out-of-state student. It helps us get to know you more.
Pharmacy, does the school offer pharmacy?
No, but you can major in really anything you want and then go to pharmacy school afterwards. You have to do that anyway.
Mm-hmm. And then we have a question about film school.
Okay, we have a film studies major. It's within the English department. It's a concentration of that. Pretty awesome small program from what I understand. If you want to know more, we have a majors page for every single major that y'all are inquiring about. If you just go to our majors page, every major has a really awesome website. It tells you future careers, clubs you can get involved in that relate to the major here at App. It also talks about, it has student testimonials. So it will say like, this student went off to move to Hollywood. And it's just a really great resource. And it also talks about what you have to get into that major, like minimum GPA requirements and stuff like that when you become a sophomore or so, once you're done with your gen ed.
All right. And we also have a question about veteran reps. There was another half of the question, but I don't know where it went.
That's okay. We are an extremely military friendly school. It's one of our most proud things, I think. And we have a series of people that can really be resourceful for you. We even have a veterans rep in the financial aid office. So if you're on the GI Bill, her name is Stephanie Jones, I believe, and we can connect you with her if your parents or you have questions about military benefits and cost of tuition. I hope that answered the question.
And then we have a question about aid for writing papers. So I guess the place in the writing center, like the writing center.
Yeah, so we have a writing center. It's a really excellent resource that you can go to for free and get your papers edited or looked over. You can even meet with someone to have a, you know, guidance on your assignment, even without writing anything, which is pretty cool. I use the writing center all the time, even as a grad student, and it's a really awesome place to get a job if you wanted an on-campus job and you really liked English or editing papers.
And then it looks like most of these other questions, we have a couple questions about the theater program and if it's been affected at all by COVID.
I don't know, honestly. I would encourage you to reach out to the program director of the theater program. They're wonderful people, literally great, great people. But if you don't have any other questions that are pressing, I think it's almost time anyway. So if you have like one or two others, I can totally answer them.
Yeah, it looks like most of the other questions are again about the Crosby Scholars.
Yeah, let's do some more research on that. I'm not familiar. I wonder if it's a program that we no longer have that we had in the past, but I don't know anything of it currently.
Okay, perfect.
Kind of telling me maybe it's something that we don't have anymore, but it is possible because I learn something new every day.
Yes. It looks like that is about all.
Great. So I'll stop sharing.
Okay, so someone says Crosby is available for high schoolers and we've been told to assist in college exception.
Yeah, I don't think I think it's a high school thing. I don't know if we participate in that.
Okay.
I would just have your guidance counselor reach out to me if you need it, but I'm not familiar with it.
Perfect.
Can we get Stephanie Jones's number? I can do that really fast, actually.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? I don't think her number is public. I will type it to you. Excellent. Well, I think that's everything. Do I have a Maryland rep? Yes, I am the Maryland rep. Oh, I think Crosby Scholars is like something maybe that the schools do, their high schools do, and they get like credit for this visit or something like that. Maybe. Not sure.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for joining us this evening for this session. We ask that when you close your computer window that you complete the 4-question survey that should appear. It would provide CACRAO and StriveScan with valuable feedback. In addition, sign up for more sessions via the CACRAO website at cacrao.org, and a recording will be made available of this session, and you can expect that shortly after we have concluded it. Take care and have a wonderful evening.